Have you guys ever had a series that you knew you'd like, but for some reason or another, you just couldn't bring yourself to, like, start watching it? Yeah, for me, that series was One Piece. See, I knew I would like One Piece because I liked Fairy Tail, and Fairy Tail is just One Piece, but worse. You can imagine when I finally read through the story, I completely no-lifed it, dude. It was like having my third eye opened, and I couldn't be more grateful. Did I lose a little bit of my sanity? Yes, but it was a small price to pay for catching up to this epic masterpiece. And I'll be honest with you, a huge part of the reason why I wanted to catch up when I did is just because I could tell that One Piece was slowly coming to an end, and I had already kind of made this pact with myself where I wouldn't finish or start One Piece until, like, the One Piece was revealed. But then one of my friends put on episode 1, and that oath went right out the window. But I'm glad that oath was broken because, woo, I got a lot to talk about. And I've already made a couple videos here and there about One Piece and a lot of TikToks and a lot of shorts. Check them out, you know, where those things are. Today, I want to talk about something kind of specific, something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and that, my friends, is a discussion about destiny and fiction. Now, specifically, One Piece, around the time that I was catching up to it, was on the verge of being on the cusp of having one of its most groundbreaking chapters of all time. That's right, baby, I had just caught up to One Piece in time for chapter 1044. And spoiler alert if you couldn't already tell from this video, but to say 1044 is a bombshell chapter would be an understatement. In fact, I think when One Piece is all said and done, it'll go down as one of the most defining chapters of the entire series because it gave us two massive reveals. One was the Gear 5th reveal, finding out that after 25 years of following Luffy using the Gum Gum fruit, that it was actually secretly the human fruit model Sun God Nika, meaning that Luffy had essentially a mythical Zoan instead of a Paramecia, was bombshell stuff. Not to be outdone by the other major reveal in this chapter, the fact that Monkey D. Luffy is in fact Joy Boy. Confirmed. Now, don't get me wrong, this was a beautiful moment. I laughed, I cheered, and more importantly, I was satisfied. But it seems that not everybody shared my sentiment. My timeline was filled with people saying they hated this reveal, saying it was a complete betrayal of the themes of the series and Luffy as a character. And you know what? I understood where they were coming from. So today, I want to talk about what some of these arguments are, break them down, and get to the heart of what destiny and free will means in One Piece. Now, let's start with the most popular take. Luffy being Joy Boy means he's the chosen one, which means he has no free will. Now, that's a pretty bold take, it's a pretty bold way of phrasing it, and it gets to the heart of the question that I think a lot of people are asking when it comes to Luffy's reveal as Joy Boy. Namely, what does this actually mean for a character who is supposed to embody freedom, who wants to be the freest man in the sea? Doesn't being Joy Boy imply that he has some kind of grander destiny to fulfill, a complete loss of free will? To that I say, not really, because I think the way One Piece handles free will is different from most other series. See, in One Piece, Joy Boy isn't the name of some mythical child of prophecy, but rather, it's more like a vacant job opening with loose prerequisites. And just like any job opening, there was a lot of candidates. In short, they have just as much of a chance to be chosen ones as Luffy. Additionally, we have yet to see two Joy Boy candidates exist in the same era, let alone at the same time. Roger was the Joy Boy of his, Nolan of his, and seemingly Luffy fits the pattern of a generational Joy Boy for his generation as well. But for some reason or another, they just haven't had the opportunity to be Joy Boy. While I personally love the decision as far as the story is concerned, I do find myself asking, at what point did Luffy become Joy Boy? Was it when Shanks gave him the hat? When he told Ace and Sabo his dream? Or was it only after he'd awakened his devil fruit? Now, the reason this is such an important question to ask is because we have to get at the heart of what being Joy Boy means for the world of One Piece. As we just established, there are and have been many Joy Boy candidates, and for Luffy, I think he wasn't Joy Boy until he had awakened his devil fruit. The reason I say that is because ultimately, I think the only person that could have awakened the devil fruit also has to have all the qualities of Joy Boy. I don't think it necessarily means that if you awaken the devil fruit, you're necessarily the chosen one. See, I think that generally speaking, awakening devil fruits, especially the Gum Gum fruit, and being Joy Boy are two mutually exclusive things. It doesn't mean that if you eat the devil fruit, you're going to become Joy Boy. In fact, what I think it actually means is that on paper, somebody could theoretically be Joy Boy without needing to eat the Gum Gum fruit, and vice versa, somebody could awaken the Gum Gum fruit, although unlikely, but still not be the Joy Boy of destiny. Take somebody like Roger, for example, who seemingly didn't have a devil fruit at all. He could still theoretically have been the Joy Boy of prophecy and relied on nothing but his haki to bring the dawn of the world, but he wouldn't have the powers of the original Joy Boy. Of course, this is all assuming he was also born at the correct time. Now, getting back to the heart of the matter, why do I think that Luffy wasn't Joy Boy until he had awakened the devil fruit properly? See, this is where I think this is a classic Oda misdirect. See, since we just established that there are two aspects that make up the collective active Joy Boy, the power and the personality, it means that Luffy is special because he has both. Now being the only Joy Boy candidate since the original to not only have the same personal qualities and ideals as the original Joy Boy, but also the cherry on top of having his original powers. In a weird way, it's kind of a Joy Boy double dip. Now, this brings us to the second hot take of the evening. Well, if he has the original Joy Boy's Devil Fruit, and he's the Joy Boy of Destiny, doesn't that basically make him a reincarnation? To which I say, not exactly. See, the funny thing is about reincarnation in One Piece is that it doesn't really exist. See, Joy Boy has been reincarnated in the form of the Devil Fruit, and if you take the theory that Devil Fruits contain the old user's soul, then by extension, any remnant of the original Joy Boy is in that Devil Fruit. But then again, we've heard that there have been other people who have eaten the Gum Gum Fruit since the original Joy Boy, and their souls could be just as much in it as his. We don't know for sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean that their personality would override Luffy's. Luffy is not the reincarnation of that Joy Boy any more so than any of the previous users were. Luffy has been the same guy we've met since chapter 1, and I think this awakening is not only something he's deserved, but he's earned. And any idea that he's no more than a reincarnation of somebody else is just factually wrong, even in the source material. And I definitely don't think his awakening changed him, at least not in the way most people think. See, the interesting thing to me, really, is that at the heart of Luffy's transformation, at the heart of his awakening, there is not only the fact that he has earned this, but the fact that it is something he actively had to fight for. He was not born Joy Boy, Luffy earned being Joy Boy. Luffy is not the chosen one, he earned being the chosen one. And I think what a lot of people get confused about the timing of Luffy's birth, the timing this is all supposed to happen, the timing of Joy Boy fulfilling his promise and bringing the dawn of the world happening, the 20 or so years since Roger found the One Piece have all been culminating into this almost seemingly perfect storm where people think the chosen one not only has to be born, but has to do their chosen one activities at this specific time. See, if Luffy was the chosen one from the moment he was born, the story would have panned out way differently. We wouldn't have any Joy Boy candidates. Nobody would be in the same kind of position as Luffy, let alone having similar personality traits and goals as him. The world wasn't waiting for Luffy to be born, they were waiting for Joy Boy to come back, and Luffy just so happened to be the best person for the job. And that thing I said earlier about there being no more than one Joy Boy candidate at any given moment, see, I think there's only one sort of, maybe, possibly exception to that, and that is Porcus D. Ace, Luffy's brother. From the moment Ace was born, he was almost destined to be the chosen one. If there was ever an archetypical Anakin Skywalker figure in One Piece, it was going to be Ace. Everything about his birth, his lineage, his powers, his abilities, everything about him screamed chosen one. It was almost as if Destiny was in a toy shop and pointed to its mother and said, that one, mom, that's the one I want. To which Fate's mother said, no, honey, that one's out of stock. But wouldn't you know it, there was something else just as good right next to it. And I know that sounds almost crazy to say, but if you really think about it, there were a lot of people that could have been Joy Boy at any given time, but the fact is that they didn't have all the necessary prerequisites to meet being Joy Boy at the correct time. And believe it or not, I think that's actually a very important point, not in the argument of fate, but more in the argument of free will, because the only thing fate could decide was the date that all of these events had to go down, but it couldn't choose who the person was ultimately going to be to satisfy it. Now, in the spirit of free will, I want to talk about something that I think is a bit of an underrated aspect of this whole Joy Boy conversation, namely the choices about who is going to be Joy Boy aren't just that of the person who is ultimately going to be Joy Boy. So let me explain what I mean. It's not so much that this person was just born in a vacuum, popped out, and was just like, okay, you're Joy Boy now. No. So I'll put it to you like this. Imagine there was the perfect Joy Boy candidate on a deserted island somewhere. Nobody was around to see him. Nobody was around to give him the fruit. Nobody even told him to get off the island. And if this person didn't have any desire to get off the island, which, you know, if they have the qualities of Joy Boy is unlikely, but just for the case of this example, let's assume probable. In that case, that person would never be Joy Boy because there would be no inciting incident to get him off the island, let alone be Joy Boy. And now bringing this back to Luffy, I think that his outside influences are just as much, if not more of a factor as to why he ultimately became Joy Boy. It wasn't just that he had awakened his Devil Fruit and happened to be at the right place at the right time, but more so he had been almost set up for success because of the people that believed and trusted in him through their own free will. And by far, I think the person whose free will has most influenced Luffy the most is actually Shanks. If we say that Joy Boy's powers are symbolized by the Gum Gum Fruit, then I want to say that Joy Boy's personality and responsibilities are symbolized by the Straw Hat. And Shanks gave him that Straw Hat of his own free will. Destiny didn't tell Shanks to do that. Shanks wasn't born with the express purpose of putting that hat on Luffy. Although, for being honest, the thought of Shanks solely being born just to give Luffy that straw hat, and Fate just waving him off being like, okay, you could die now, thank you, is just a very funny thought on its own, but I digress. Anyway, when it comes to Shanks and his relationship with Luffy, it's almost like Shanks is the human embodiment of destiny. He is the person that ultimately set Luffy on this path towards Pirate King, and he is the person that has essentially lit his fire. And when asked why he chose Luffy, why he would sacrifice his arm from some random kid from the East Blue, he said he bet it all on the future, meaning that Shanks put all of his faith in Luffy to be the future. But make no mistake, Shanks choosing Luffy was not only him exercising his own free will, betting his own arm, making his own choices to do that, but doing so because Luffy proved to him that he earned it. Because all jokes aside, Shanks did not go all the way to the East Blue to give Luffy that straw hat, and he definitely didn't mean for Luffy to eat the gum gum fruit. But as is the case with every single time Luffy is chosen for anything, by fate, by destiny, by Shanks, he did so by strength of character and earning it every single time. And to be honest with you, I think this all coalesces into the main point, the main reason I wanted to make this video, in that, to me, when people say something like Luffy is the chosen one, he's nothing but a reincarnation, he has plot armor, to me it signals not only a fundamental misunderstanding of the series, but Luffy as a character. Because if there is one protagonist I have seen who has earned every power-up he has gotten, it is Luffy. And I think Gear 5th being this magical transformation where Luffy is just laughing, smiling, laughing, and being the most free he can be, is perfect for a protagonist, for a character like him who embodies these themes wholeheartedly. And let me just say, it is something that Luffy had to fight tooth and nail to unlock, because there is almost no part of Luffy in which he doesn't give it his fucking all to get what he wants, to achieve his dreams, to get that one step closer to being Pirate King, and by extension, bringing the dawn of the world as Joy Boy. These two things can both be true. There is many layers to Luffy's awakening. There is many layers to him being Joy Boy. There is many layers to saying he is the chosen one, because it's not as simple as him being handpicked by the gods. In fact, I would say that as far as Monkey D. Luffy is concerned, there is no other protagonist that comes close to him in terms of earning his status as the chosen one, and especially for a story as massive as One Piece. And honestly, I hope with this video I managed to get across just how much more depth and nuance goes into something that is seemingly as simple as just another shonen power-up. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Luffy being Joy Boy, what the Gear 5th reveal means, and if you liked it and didn't like it, if this video changed your mind. So if you like what you saw and you want to see me do more anime-manga content, including One Piece, then like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Later!